Very chaotic scene happening right now. Bill Melugin, what are you seeing?
Hey guys, we are in the university area of Charlotte right now. We're right now, very active situation. You can see dozens of CMPD officers here in riot gear squaring off with protesters regarding a CMPD officer-involved shooting today. Here's what we know so far. This apartment complex called The Village, it's in the university area of Charlotte. Police say they showed up here to try and serve a warrant. When they got here, they say they found a man in a vehicle with a handgun. They say that man threatened them, so they shot and killed him on the spot. Now, this man's family has a much different story. The family says that he was only holding a book and that he was unarmed. Let me move out of the way real quick. He was only holding a book, that he was unarmed, and he was simply waiting on his kids. But CMPD has a bottle being thrown. Watch out. All right, stuff's being thrown now. Let's back up a little bit here. We apologize for any on-air profanities you might hear. Obviously, very live situation here. But I want to bring in Brett Baldeck, because Brett, you spoke to the victim's family here, and what do they have to tell you? Yeah, this is the first kind of time we've seen it start to get a little hectic here. Earlier, it was just people protesting. There was some pushing and shoving. Now there's water bottles being launched all over the place here. We're going to keep backing up. Situation's starting to get a little out of control here. Let's back up a little bit. But again, this is what CMPD has really been trying to stay away from. They never wanted to see this happen. They do a lot of community policing, but as you can see, these folks out here, very upset. Very different stories between the police and the family. The family, again, saying this man was unarmed, that he was only holding a book. The police saying he was armed, that he had a gun, and they say they recovered that gun at the scene. So right now it's a case of he said, she said. CMPD Police Chief Kurt Putney was out having a press conference earlier today. The officer hasn't been identified yet, but he did say, as is standard, he's been placed under paid administrative leave while they're investigating. There's going to be two separate investigations going on. One's going to be an internal investigation to see if CMPD policies were applied to. Another one's going to be a criminal investigation to make sure the law wasn't broken. Now, I'm going to stop talking for a little bit just so you can get a sense of what's being said here. And again, we apologize for any profanity here. As you can see, they're starting to chant once again, hands up, don't shoot. We've seen this with different protests all across the country when it comes to law enforcement shootings of predominantly African-American men. Now, we have to stress here, we simply don't know what happened. We don't know if the man had a gun or not. Police say he did and that they recovered it. The family says he didn't. He was only holding a book. We just heard a few moments ago was either flashbangs going off, and it looks like there's some kind of gas deployed. Our best guess is tear gas, as we saw a lot of protesters start running down the street here. This would mark an escalation of the night's events. So far, we have seen bottles being thrown, but this is the first time we've seen police deploy any of these tactics. So we heard a couple of large, loud explosions just a couple of moments ago, and as you can see, there's some tear gas up there. We don't want to go anywhere near that, but we saw a lot of protesters taking off up the street. Again, this is all having to do with the CMPD officer involved deadly shooting that happened just up the street from here. Well, guys, what we're seeing right now is still some type of a gas being deployed. We don't know if it's confirmed to be tear gas or not, but you're seeing the CMPD chopper still circling the road right now as these protesters continue just walking up the street. Haven't seen any violence other than bottles being thrown, water bottles being thrown, some pushing and shoving, a little bit of people getting up in each other's faces, but nothing crazy so far. And I wouldn't say everything's dissipating, I just think everything's kind of moving up the street here. Hey guys, right now we are live at the intersection of Trade and Tryon in uptown Charlotte, where we're witnessing a very peaceful protest behind us. Let me go ahead and step out of the way and show you what we're looking at. A group of probably about 50 to 75 folks out here. They're just chanting right now, hands up, don't shoot. All, of course, in response to the deadly CMPD shooting that happened yesterday of Keith Scott. This is a much different picture compared to what we saw last night in terms of the protests. You'll remember those protests started off in the university area of Charlotte, right near where the shooting happened at the Village apartment complex. Earlier today, CMPD Police Chief Kurt Putney held a press conference where he announced that the body cam footage is not going to be released. He said the officer who shot and killed Keith Scott was not wearing a body camera because he was an undercover officer. But other officers were, in fact, wearing body cameras. But because of a new state law, that footage will not be released. Are you worried that as the sun goes down, some bad characters might come out and it might kind of turn into what we saw last night?
Very wary. Very wary.
Hey guys, yeah, we are live with this group of protesters which have walked through uptown Charlotte, and as you can see, they have made their way right here to CMPD headquarters where they continue to protest the shooting death of Keith Scott. As you can hear, once again, they are now chanting, "No justice, no peace." Some of them saying, "This isn't where it starts, this is where it ends." They're going to hold police accountable, and that's the message they say they want put out as they stand right on the front doorstep of CMPD headquarters. Take a listen.
No peace, no justice, no peace.
And again, this is a very similar scene to what we were seeing last night in terms of protesters standing right in front of CMPD officers, getting up in their faces like this, and CMPD just not responding to them. Again, they've created a wall with their bikes here to block them from getting into the CMPD headquarters here. But as you can see, CMPD not responding to any of these chants that they're getting here. As you can hear, some of the protesters are saying, "All we want is a chance." Take a listen.
Always what you think we are. That's it. And that's all we want. How you doing, Captain?
Look at that, a handshake right there with Captain Mike Campagna. Well, Kayla, we just witnessed a pretty amazing moment here in front of CMPD headquarters. I'm here with Greg Jackson right now. He's out here protesting. Greg, thank you so much for joining us. No problem. And you just had a pretty incredible moment with CMPD Captain Mike Campagna. Talk about the conversation you guys just had and why it's so important.
Well, we just opened up the forum where I can give my opinion and basically the black community's opinion out here in Charlotte. And then he basically gave the police department's opinion. And that's what we need to do right now is have an open forum.
Bill, what is the latest that you're seeing out there right now?
Well, Brian, the latest we're seeing right now is these riot officers with CMPD are starting to push us up the street, as you can see right behind us now. This has been an absolute disaster of a night when it comes to these protests. We thought it was bad last night. Tonight has been even worse. Someone was killed. The city says it was a civilian-on-civilian shooting. It happened just at the Omni Hotel right behind us, right up the block. There's a big pool of blood on the ground. A bunch of the protesters out here said it was CMPD who shot and killed a man because he was throwing stuff at them, but the city put out a press release tonight saying that it was in fact a civilian-on-civilian shooting. Businesses have been broken into, trash cans have been thrown through windows. All of us in our news crew here, we've taken, I don't know if it's tear gas or CS gas tonight. It got in our eyes, it got in our mouth. Flashbangs have been going off all night long, and the police have formed like a square perimeter here at the intersection of Trade and College here. We're right in front of the epicenter. A lot of tear gas down the road down there. It looks like they're starting to push down that way a little bit more. So as I was mentioning, police have essentially made a square at this intersection. They've made a square. We're on one edge. The main protest group is on the other side. The tear gas you're seeing is straight across from us, and then there's another group over to the right where the shooting happened. So they formed a square, and they're just expanding through the use of tear gas and flashbangs, and that's what we're looking at right now. Well, Kayla, what we're looking at right now, this is the Bank of America in uptown Charlotte down here. As you can see, this window has been completely shattered. By our guess, it looks like somebody took this trash can and threw it through, but this is just some of the damage that we've seen down here. We just got word that there's some activity down the street from us, that people are flipping things over, so we're going to try to walk down there right now and see what we can find. Oh, okay. We got back up. We got tear gas now. Hey, stay calm. Back up. All right, so we all just.
All right, Bill, you need to get to safety right now. Get away from that tear gas.
Very, very tense situation happening in uptown.
That cleared out the group of protesters from the street right.
Oh.
Okay, wow.
All right,
okay,
Bill.
flashbangs are getting very, very close right now.
That was more flashbangs, more tear gas. Well, Kayla, right now we are at the intersection of Trade and Tryon, which is the exact same intersection where we saw the issues going on last night with the riots and the violence. Tonight, a much different story. A very peaceful march so far, just some chanting. The folks have been walking up and down the blocks of uptown Charlotte with no issues whatsoever so far. It's been great to see. Nobody's been hurt. There's been no pushing, no shoving, no violence. police and protesters respecting each other. The National Guard is out here tonight. Take a look. There's some soldiers right here next to one of their military vehicles. We are right in front of the Omni Hotel right now. You'll remember the Omni Hotel because we're standing in the spot right now where a man was shot during the protests last night. We've been essentially making circles around the Uptown area. We've gone to Trade and Tryon. We've gone to where kind of the night scene is. Now we're going kind of towards more the sporting area near the Charlotte Knights baseball stadium, and a couple blocks away is the Charlotte Panthers stadium. Welcome back. Right now we are live in front of Bank of America Stadium, which is where the Carolina Panthers play. And if you take a look right now, the National Guard is posted up right in the front right here. It's actually been pretty cool to see. Some of the protesters have just been giving some fist bumps to the soldiers. If you take a look, it's happening right here, a handshake. This is great to see. You know, there's been no violence tonight, been very peaceful. They're posting for photos together. Yeah, the soldiers have their guns holstered, but there's no issues going on here. Look at this. They're hugging each other. Very peaceful, smiles, handshakes. This is great to see. And again, this is right in front of where the Carolina Panthers play. There's a football game scheduled for this Sunday. Officials were concerned about the schedule, but they decided to keep it. Brian, a major development out here. Protesters have just climbed onto I-277 going into Uptown right now. As you can see, they are crossing all lanes right now. Again, they have gotten on all, yeah, we're walking through a little bit of broken glass right here. But you can see traffic has been stopped by police on the other side of I-277, and there are now hundreds of folks out on the road right here. This is something police certainly did not want to see. The protests have been fine so far, very peaceful, no issues, but this is definitely an escalation here as they're now blocking traffic into Uptown on I-277. Bank of America Stadium, where the Carolina Panthers play, just over my shoulder right now. Again, this is I-277 heading into Uptown, and as you can see, hundreds of protesters now on the roads. It looks like they're on the other side of the road now. They're hopping the center divider, and again, Ed, sorry to make you pan again. Look at the traffic heading back down on the other side of the freeway, driving into one-way traffic to get off of here. And it looks not a good situation for these drivers. Again, we got a CMPD chopper circling. Now we're starting to hear more of a police presence. We're starting to hear the sirens. We see bike cops pushing protesters off the top of the bridge here. Things are starting to escalate. Let's hope it doesn't get worse. Let's hope they're able to clear folks off of the highway here because people are driving on this. They're having to turn around. And right now, there are hundreds of people. They're on the center divider. They're on the other side. They're on the bridge column. And there are a lot of CMPD officers on the other side. And David, this is starting to not look so good.
Yeah, it's really not starting to look good. You know, everyone's
starting
been
to
talking
run
about
now.
this being a peaceful protest, and certainly it has throughout the entire evening, but I'm not sure.
Okay, riot police have just shown up. Riot police have just shown up.
And a lot of riot police, as
riot
Will's
police
saying,
have just arrived.
coming onto the interstate. Looks like they're trying to get everyone out of here quick
everybody's
as
running.
possible.
Let's take a look.
Some protesters are starting to run.
They're clearly going to go after the people who are in the middle of the road right now. They're establishing a line right now to not let anybody else through. Let's make sure we're not on the interstate in any way. All right, guys, you're taking a live look right now at the on-ramp to I-277. Riot police from CMPD pushing protesters back up the on-ramp right now. If you pan up, look at all these protesters running away up there. Looks like police might have fired something off. I'm seeing some white smoke up there. Again, they've got a helicopter. Okay, you can hear them battering their shields right now. They're pushing everybody on the on-ramp right now. For those of you who live in Charlotte, we are right near the intersection of Church and Moorhead. Yep, there's gas going off up there. Gas or smoke. I can't tell which it is from here, but there's something going off on the hills up there. Let's take a look here. Riot police. We should probably move to the right here, Ed. Let's go ahead and get out of the way. So yeah, riot police are pushing these protesters up the on-ramp or the entrance to I-277 here. It got a little bit testy earlier. There were people all over the interstate, hundreds of them, but police were finally able to get them off. Somebody threw a glass bottle at some point.